fuck you, you peasant. How dare you come in here, order all these drinks, and then you can't pay for them. Go back to your fucking ugly girlfriend before I embarrass you in front of her by pulling your fucking underwear over your fucking head, you fucking nerd.
Also, this was so good because he's saying this to a customer for a mistake that he made.
I am the devil, and don't you forget it.
You're a whore with a mustache.
I take sketch comedy very seriously.
A whore in there.
I'm not sure what I've done to you, but I'll take a Pinot Grigio. The only thing I have holding me back is that I have self-respect and dignity.
Pumpcast.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the Pumpcast. I'm Maddie Drosbeck.
And I'm Meg Ruocco.
And Meg, I'm dying to know, did you ever know someone who got a wedgie in high school or middle school?
That is a great question.
Was there any like physical bullying that happened at your school?
So, not a lot of physical. There was light physical bullying,
Okay.
I would say. I would say that pantsing
Okay, that is exactly what I was going to say.
is actually more popular. Instead of pants going up, pants would go down.
Yeah.
That was a big one. It was
Okay.
like the boys would pants each other. Ha
Yup.
ha ha.
I remember this one guy in my class, Jimmy, getting pantsed like hard in the 6th grade. Like it was bad. I still remember. It's like burned into my memory to this day. It was like it just, they went at him hard and fast. He was deeply unprepared. All of a sudden, he's just cheeks out in the 6th grade hallway.
Oh no.
Not to bring this up, not to bring up your trauma, Jimmy.
Sorry, Jimmy.
But I do remember.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, we would I think typically the underwear would stay on.
Yeah.
There was a weird phase in my junior high, maybe into my kind of early high school career, where boys would wear like snap or zip pants over basketball shorts,
Okay.
and then like a sweatshirt over a t-shirt, and then over the course of the day they would like shed the layer. So like at some point you would be in class and like one of the boys would stand up and be like, "Whoa!" and like rip off their pants.
And these are the same kids that like wouldn't just do theater.
No,
Like you're a theater kid. What are we doing?
like you just want attention.
You want to do theater so bad.
You literally just want to be Pippin.
Bro, audition for the school musicale.
Straight up.
What are we doing?
Straight up. Miss Darbus was on to fucking something. But yeah, no, it became a thing where almost like the boys would pants themselves.
Yeah.
Really, I mean,
Over
and
it.
again, these were also the boys that we were like, you're all the most popular boys in school.
Totally.
And what the hell were they doing?
What the hell is happening? I felt like my school was pretty exclusively big on psychological warfare.
Yes, me as well.
It wasn't like physical bullying. But I will say I did always think that the teachers got everything wrong. Like I remember they used to have assemblies to discipline the girls on like girl on girl bullying. And I remember going to those assemblies being like, you guys have it all wrong. The girls are not the problem. The girls have
Yeah.
never been the problem. Meanwhile, they're like, you can't bully someone for not having Uggs and a North Face. And I'm like, no one's fucking doing that.
Right.
No one's fucking doing that.
Yeah.
I'm mad because 18 of the boys in my class are making Facebook statuses about how fat I am and like slamming my fingers in my locker.
And at that point, like cyberbullying was still kind of like this new term that like people didn't, like adults didn't really understand. They were like, how could you possibly be mean to someone on the internet?
Right.
What?
I'm like, this guy has called me fat every day for the last 30 calendar days, and now he's making fun of my unibrow.
No, right.
I'm like, if you're gonna pay for the eyebrow wax, then fine.
It's like, I don't give a fuck about Uggs.
Right? I'm like, the Uggs are not the problem.
Uggs are
you
not
guys.
the issue here.
The girly pops are not doing this. It's the boys.
No, literally. Yeah, that was like when the popular boys in my grade made a female fantasy league.
What?
Have I not told you this?
No.
Yeah. This was so crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait, so what were they tracking?
So 7th grade, right? We all the 7th graders get called into the gym for like a mandatory meeting. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I learn that, you know, the cool guys had made and been tracking an FFL, a female fantasy league
I hate this.
where they would rate and build teams of the popular / hot girls in the grade. And you would get points on if they like wore leggings one day or wore spaghetti straps.
What?
And what's so crazy is that they were so organized. Someone kept a ledger.
This is diabolical.
It was like evil.
Oh my God.
And I, getting called into this assembly, had no idea that it was happening. I was not a part of, if you can believe, I was not a part of the book. I was not.
Well, thank God.
I was not like involved on the guy's side either. So I'm sitting there and the principal is like, guys, like this really isn't okay. You gotta treat people, women like they're people. And I lean over to a kid, this kid Jeff, who I knew like from elementary school at the time. We were not friends. And I was like, what is this about? And Jeff had to like give me the lowdown on what had happened.
Holy shit.
And basically how they had been discovered was that someone's mom had like stumbled upon this physical scorebook that they were keeping. But how crazy is that you are so viciously, evilly horny
Right.
that you like keep a record.
Right. You're type A sexually harassing
Yes.
the girls in your class.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to make a spreadsheet for sexual harassment.
No, straight up. They were in Excel like crunching the numbers and they were like, Haley's titties look crazy today. Like
That is
3 points.
unbelievable.
It was crazy. And I will never forget those little fuckers who made that. A lot of them are married now.
Oh my God.
Again, I'm sure that they're not, evil the way that a 7th grade boy is
Yeah,
evil.
but you know what? There is some part of me that just thinks that if you were ever that evil,
right.
it sticks with you a little bit.
There's something in there.
There's only there's an appropriate amount of evil that you can be at that age.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? And I feel like that's well over the line.
Because I was never, and maybe this was purely because I was always in a place of being like so. If someone was going to bully me, the first way that they would bully me was going by looks,
Yeah.
right? So I was always pretty cognizant of like, if I were to be mean about somebody, it wasn't going to be about their looks.
No, because they'll just turn around and say it back at me.
Because if you can just
And
call
I'll
me
cry.
fat, then I'm in 7th grade. You've won that battle.
Right. Fuck.
Shit. They got me. Kids are crazy and kids are mean.
But I really do wish that I witnessed a wedgie just to see it once.
I wish that too. Some like you walk into school one day and a kid's like hanging by a wedgie on the flagpole. Right. There's Carl again.
Yeah, drop your wedgie stories in the comments, I guess.
Yeah.
There's got to be one person listening that's witnessed a wedgie.
Yeah, and if you have, please tell us.
Yeah.
We're dying to know.
I don't remember what happened to the people that pantsed Jimmy when we were in the 6th grade.
Jimmy, if you're listening, please reply and tell us what happened to the people who pantsed you.
Top of the app, we are at Tom and Kristen's apartment, and Laura-Leigh and Kristen are running lines.
The dynamic duo.
And Kristen is giving us a performance.
She is giving the performance of a time.
And she really believes that she is like serving and giving it, because at the very end of finishing her line, she goes, and scene. And is like wiping away fake tears as if she's like so exhausted by the performance she just gave. Mm-hmm. She was like method acting.
Yeah, and you can see it in her eyes when she is rehearsing that scene that she's like giving
I'm
it her
acting.
all. I'm acting.
That's like literally what she is giving during
So much
this
of
scene.
acting is reacting.
She's like, everyone at SUR is an actor or a musician. Everyone's in the entertainment industry. And, Lisa is always talking about how she really wants more for us
Yeah.
than to just be wait staff at SUR.
Yeah. Yeah. And it cuts to all of them like doing their little hobbies.
Cut to Stassi styling for a shoot.
It's Tom playing guitar
Yup.
and also Max playing guitar.
Right. Lisa's son.
Yep.
Jax being a sunglass model.
Peter is producing a film that Tom acted in and showing it exclusively to the Sir staff.
Right. And they all look so uninterested. It's like, why did they set up for a Q&A?
Yeah, why did they have a Q&A for that?
Why was there but it's all so staged too. It's like,
Right.
you guys just needed the clip. Was it even a real short film? Like, who knows?
There's no shot.
Peter, I'd like to see it. Peter, open invite to screen this movie on this podcast.
Yes.
Peter, open invite. We will funnel budget into renting out a bar in New York City to showcase this film. Not saying the capacity of the bar, a bar where there will be at least 2 people in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Take it or leave it.
Dare I say, we'll even let you screen the one that you make seasons later, also with Tom.
We'll do a whole Peter Madrigal film festival.
Peterpalooza.
Peterpalooza coming so soon. Peter, if you're seeing this, we want to put on Peterpalooza.
What I would give for Peterpalooza.
And you know what? Good for them. Everyone needs a hobby.
It's so important to have dreams.
So important to have things to do in your spare time.
Mm-hmm.
Who said you had to be good at them?
Come on, do it. Creating isn't about being good.
No.
It's about making things for the joy of it.
Totally.
Do they all want to be good and make money from it? Yes.
Allegedly.
But that's neither here nor there when it comes to them and their talents.
Totally.
As Lisa said in the last episode, she knows which ones are going to be successful.
She's keeping that to herself for now. She's going to let those cards just fall.
But she will reveal one person every year.
All right, so boof.
Plow.
We're in Stassi's new apartment, and Frank is here.
Yes, Frank.
And he's like standing over Stassi's shoulder trying to read the fashion column that she is writing for Lisa and Pandora's online luxury magazine, as Stassi calls it.
Yes, it is decidedly not a blog.
Not a blog, it is a column.
Fashion column. And Frank is kind of giving her some shit about it.
Yeah, he's being like very just belittling and kind of talking down to her. He's negging her.
He's negging her. He's totally negging her. And Stassi's like, how about instead of talking to me about this, you fix the pole that you put up to hang up all my clothes that fell down the other day.
Right.
And Frank's like, oh, you're always making me do stuff.
You're always making me do stuff. And no, I don't have a plan. I'll figure it out as I go. We're just like riding the wave of life. What the hell, Stass? Like, chill.
This is where Frank was never really the white knight in this plot line, but this episode in particular is where Frank, we see the fall of him.
Totally.
In a big way. Those cracks begin to show.
And Stassi has a quote where she's like, Frank's the type of guy that puts up the pole and it falls, and Jax is the kind of guy that doesn't even put up the pole. But I would like to add an asterisk there. Frank is the kind of guy who puts up the pole, it falls, you ask him to fix it, and then he gaslights you and blames you for ever making him put up the pole in the first place.
Yeah.
As if like he's like the type of person that when he does a nice thing, he will hold it against you that he chose to do that nice thing for you.
Yes.
He's like, you're never going to forget that I did this nice thing for you. I put up the pole for you, you ungrateful bitch. You want me to fix it now that it fell? Like, he's not better than Jax.
No. He's not. Dare I say that maybe there are elements to him that are worse?
There are. And I think we see that. I don't even think it's this season. I think it's maybe next season or 2 seasons to come. We'll come back to that one.
Yeah. But that's not a glowing endorsement of Jax. That is entirely putting down of Frank. Stassi and Frank kind of continue their tiff about what Stassi writes is not a blog. It is a column. And they kind of land nowhere on that. It kind of begins what continues to escalate in this episode. Sproingo over to Lisa's house.
Lisa in Beverly Hills, because that's where she wants to be.
And Melanie is there, the Sir publicist.
Yeah, and Lisa's wearing this like purple leopard getup that even I wouldn't wear, which is saying something.
She is serving. Melanie is there. She's like, everything is going amazing at Sir. We're getting great reviews. Everyone's happy with everything. We need to spice it up. I love how like how much they try to make out of the nothing
I know.
that is the Sir plot.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
the
also
business plot, you know?
this meeting could have been one singular text message. I love that this whole meeting is like, everything's going great, but we really need to spice it up. How about a happy hour? And it's like, surely we didn't need a big meeting to decide that we wanted to try out a happy hour.
We needed to get the brain trust for that.
I'm like, I think we just could have done that.
Ken and Jiggy needed to be here.
I'm like, there's no way.
I don't think
But
so.
see, this is another example of Ken being just
Dropping.
like the ears that are everywhere
Dropping
all
the
at
bomb.
once. And he says that there's a rumor
Uh-huh.
that the security walked into the Sir Lounge bathroom and Jax and Laura-Leigh were naked on the floor having sex.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And Lisa's like, what? And Ken's like, the only mistake he made was not to lock the door.
He sounds just like that. You are very good at the Ken impression, genuinely.
Thank you so much.
But like, who's telling him?
Who is telling him that?
Where is Ken getting his information from?
Ken, who is your source? Ken. Ken has a little like trench coat and like a little
Yeah.
detective's hat on.
He's in the corner
A little
always.
magnifying glass with
Yeah.
Jiggy has a little one.
Yeah.
And Melanie offers some amazing advice. She goes, as your publicist, that's not a good look.
Guys, this is a problem. It's like, no shit, Melanie.
Obviously, Melanie, you're useless.
The servers are having sex in the bathroom while they're clocked in. We know it's a fucking problem.
Get out. Get out of Villa Rosa. Never come back. So, swing over to Sir.
Stassi and Scheana are eating together.
They are having dinner. They are breaking bread.
They like have takeout containers and they're just like sitting in the middle of the restaurant, which feels like it's not allowed.
So
they're
when
like at a table.
When I first started watching the episode, I had to rewind and rewatch it because I was like, oh, weird that like Stassi and Scheana are like at dinner at Sir.
Right.
I guess they're like out to dinner some night. And then Stassi starts the conversation by being like, I really need to take you out to dinner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is Stassi saying that? They're at dinner
Right.
at Sir right now. And then I realized that it's because Stassi is working a shift.
Right.
She clocked in at 6. It's 6:10. She's eating at a table in
Right.
the Sir restaurant with Scheana, who doesn't start for another 30 minutes.
But it's like, you'd think that they would at least be in Sir Alley or somewhere where it's not like,
somewhere in the kitchen.
it's not like customers are there.
Right.
They're like in the back. No,
Right.
they're just fully where customers are with like takeout containers. It doesn't even, is the food from Sir? I don't even know.
We don't actually know. But they are eating at a table in Sir. And Kristen, who is also working that night, goes up to Peter and is like, Stassi clocked in for her shift 15 minutes ago and she's eating at a table. Do something about it. And Peter's like, okay.
Kristen rats. And she needs to see Stassi get punished.
Yeah. She's absolutely dying for it.
But it's beautiful because Kristen rats and then she's like critical towards Peter about how he chooses as the manager to enact
the punishment.
Yeah.
Because what he does is he goes up to Stassi and Scheana and he's like, you guys cannot be eating out in the restaurant ever
Right.
when you are working, like get out of here. And Kristen's like, I was talking about Stassi, not Scheana. Peter.
It's like, Kristen, shut up. But it's like, this is an example of her needing to involve herself in everything because she could have just on the side said something to Peter and then walked away. But she had to say something to Peter on the side, then like follow behind him in the shadows, seeing how he was going to handle it, and then corrected him in the moment for how she would have done it. Like, no, I only wanted you to yell at Stassi and not Scheana. Peter, wrong. Not what I told you to do.
And Stassi tries to kind of like confront Kristen a little bit and be like, well, then why didn't you say anything? And Kristen's like, I'm not a manager.
Right.
It's like, okay, whatever, Kristen. Meanwhile, across town at Takami,
Oh my God.
Jax and Laura-Leigh are on a fucking tear. They show up at the restaurant. I don't even think they sit down.
No, they literally walk in. They don't even like talk to the hostess. They go straight for the bathroom.
Yep.
The staff bathroom, to be exact.
Yep. Cameras following them the entire time.
Yep.
And they're like, hee, we're all sneaky. It's like, girl, you're on a TV show.
Right.
You're fully on a TV show right now.
Yeah.
What do you think the cameras are here for? And Jax is like, oh my God, like, you're crazy. And Laura-Leigh's like, this is the employee bathroom. And they walk in and they close the door and they lock it. And then you hear like stifled moans.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to them at a table in Takami.
And Jax is like, whoa, you're amazing.
And Laura-Leigh's like, now we can say we had sex in this bathroom too.
I know. And you know what? As I was watching this episode, I pinpointed what Laura-Leigh's laugh sounds like, completely fucking unironically. But do you know though that like comedy duo on Instagram and TikTok, Twink and a Redhead?
Yes.
The redhead, when she does that irritating laugh, she's like,
yes.
Unironically, that is what Laura-Leigh sounds like.
You are so dead on with that.
Like the character that she is playing
Yes.
is Laura-Leigh.
Yes. That is Laura-Leigh to a T.
Yeah.
She is exactly that. Her voice is as high as you think it is. It's so much higher.
And that's how she laughs too.
Mm-hmm. It's wild.
Oh my God, I can't believe we had sex right when we got here on the bathroom. And Laura-Leigh's like, I can't keep my hands off of you. I don't want to keep my hands off of you ever. I can honestly say you are the most attractive man I have ever dated. I feel like someone's been following me around the last 5 years. Like, Laura-Leigh, what do you want in a man? What do you like in a man? Now say this, and this. That's how much you say the right thing.
And it cuts to a talking head of Jax who goes, I know that Laura-Leigh is 100% in on this relationship. I just don't know that I'm 100% there. Or even 50%.
Jax is finally starting to admit that this was all to irritate Stassi and not because he's actually interested in Laura-Leigh.
After 5 days, the glow is wearing off.
Who'd have thunk?
And he is like, you know what? I'm beginning to think that maybe Laura-Leigh and I aren't that compatible.
How strange.
Very interesting.
Who could have seen this one coming?
I also do love that Laura-Leigh, as she's giving this like impassioned speech about how much she loves Jax, when she says, you are the most attractive man I have ever dated, she says it like this, you are the most, and gives this long pause, like she's thinking of something really thoughtful. And then she goes, attractive man I've ever dated. Like it's like she's about to say something nice about him. And then she's like, you are hot.
Yes. You are very sexy, Jax Taylor.
Imagine someone goes on like a really impassioned speech about how much they like you, but it all just revolves around like how hot you are.
If somebody did that same exact thing to me, I would actually be so disappointed.
I'd be sad.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously I want someone to think that I'm hot, but like
Totally, but if that's
the only reason,
you are so hot.
You're hot.
I'm like, okay, so you think I'm stupid? You think I'm dumb? That's the only thing you could think of.
So they're at Takami. The next
Add
day,
that to the map.
Takami, pew, poof, added to the map. The next day, presumably, Katie and Kristen are at a spin class. They're getting their sweat on.
And it kicks off with a quote from Kristen that's like, you know, there's a lot of pressure to be the hottest, thinnest girl at SUR. That's probably the reason why we all work out like 5 times a week. Every time I hear thin people talk like that, I'm like, you know what? I'll just be fat. You know what? I actually...
It's so true.
Don't mind me.
It's such an interesting insight into like the thin people's world
Totally.
that I've never been privy to.
Totally. This idea that like in order to be thin, you have to make yourself miserable and you just have to accept that life. Like I would actually just never do that, actually.
And that it's not okay to just be thin. You have to be the thinnest.
Yes.
So you can't just be skinny. You have to be literally the smallest one.
Right.
Which is like so many factors play into body composition, obviously. But like just thinking about like if you're tall and you work at SUR, you're never going to be the hottest one because you're tall.
Yeah.
Even if you are really thin. Like, it's always going to be the
Totally.
really petite, tiny
Yeah.
girls.
I don't understand. It's like, I feel like sometimes we get so close where it's like, if you have to make yourself miserable and be like at the gym every single day in order to maintain your figure, maybe you're not supposed to have that figure.
Maybe. Don't say that to them. They're going to get scared.
They're going to lose their minds.
They're going to
Like,
get really
maybe
scared.
that's not what your body wants to look like.
Maybe you're hungry.
Food for thought.
I know that you hate food, but
Like, no, this is just what my body naturally looks like. And I hate my whole life every single day of the week because I eat bird food and take spin classes that make me feel like I'm going to pass out.
and I feel pressure all the time.
I don't want to do these things. I'm doing them because I feel that there's a gun to my head.
Right.
And that's just what it takes.
And that's it. That's what it takes to be hot.
like, you guys, you know what? You have fun with that. I'm going to be over here fat as hell.
Just makes me feel really good that I can be hot and fat.
Yeah. Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally. I'm going to be hot and fat and like happy because
Yeah.
I allow myself to enjoy the range of foods and experiences that life has to offer me without being like beholden to a routine that makes me miserable all the time.
Yeah. And when I'm moving my body, it's not to punish myself.
Right? It's because we're having fun.
Yep. Having a good time.
Yep.
They wouldn't last a day in these Louboutins.
They really would not.
I love also that after the spin class, Katie and Kristen are like, they're sitting down outside of it to like recap the spin class. And Katie is just like, I don't think I liked that.
Yeah. They're both like, we're never coming back to this again.
I really appreciate that. They have a brief conversation about how Katie is going to go see Stassi that night to talk about what's gone down between them, kind of pre-Vegas, during Vegas, post-Vegas. And Katie expresses wanting Stassi to take some sort of responsibility for what happened.
Which I just feel like there is a misunderstanding of what everyone is upset about.
Yeah.
Because I think that Katie is upset that Stassi is not listening to her when she's expressing concern about Frank specifically.
Yes.
And she thinks that Stassi's reaction to her is about that exclusively, while totally ignoring the Jax part of this conflict, where it's like, I actually think the majority of Stassi's anger has come from everyone's constant defense of Jax.
Yep.
And the non-defense of her and like getting mad at Frank that she then gets defensive about. Like, she definitely does get mad about the Frank stuff also, but there's an entire second half of this that I do think is the more prominent half. And Katie seems to only be focusing on like, oh, like Stassi's all mad at me because I am critical of her hopping to Frank so quickly. And I also think Frank sucks. And it's like, well, that's not really it though.
Yeah.
You're doing that and defending Jax at the same time.
Right.
That's the issue.
And Katie is kind of emphasizing that she's like, yeah, like I really just want Stassi to like take responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And Kristen's like, totally, girl. And then in the same breath, Kristen is like, I just don't understand why Stassi won't reconcile with me.
Right. She's like jealous that Stassi and Katie are having this conversation first.
Right. And she's like, thinking about her literally makes me want to cry. And it's like, shut up, Kristen. Stop crying.
Yeah.
You're a grown woman. Okay. So, poof, over to Sir. Diana, the manager, comes up to Laura-Leigh and Jax and is like, hey, Lisa wants to talk to you.
I wonder what for.
And Laura-Leigh and Jax are like, okay. Walk over, sit down at a table, again in an indiscriminate room. Who knows where they are in this scene. And Lisa goes, I heard on good authority that you got caught with your trousers down. Literally.
Where? The fact that Jax's first response is to say, where?
Laura-Leigh goes, what are you talking about?
And then Lisa's like, I mean, do we have a choice of places or was it one occasion?
Where?
And Laura, again, they're so bad at acting. Laura-Leigh's like, what is she talking about?
What literally?
What's
What
going
is she?
on? What happened? What is she talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
These
They
people are terrible
immediately-
actors.
Immediately start lying. Jax goes, are you kidding me? I don't even have I don't even have like time to even think about something like
When
that.
I'm at Sir, I'm like so locked in. I couldn't even possibly think about having sex in the bathroom mid shift.
Laura-Leigh's like, if I would have had sex with him here, I would have locked the door. Which honestly, a dig on herself, because then it smash cuts to a talking head of Jax going, yeah, we did fully have sex. in the
Also,
bathroom.
I thought it was so funny that Laura-Leigh brought up Takami in this conversation.
Yes. Yeah, she goes, we had sex at the Takami bathroom.
What, are you talking about Takami? We had sex at Takami. And it's like, why are you telling her that?
Don't reveal that.
Lisa famously really cares about how you behave in other people's restaurants. You guys just got yelled at this like literally last episode. What are you guys doing?
I didn't even think about that. But she literally made this whole big stink. And then they're like, no problem. And then they go,
We fucked in Takami, not Sir.
And Jax, again, it's like their whole thing is like, we have to maintain this lie that we didn't have sex in the VIP lounge in the bathroom. And then it cuts to a filmed talking head of Jax saying, yeah, we definitely had sex here in the VIP lounge, but I like my job, so I'm sticking to my story.
But this is like one of the first examples of Lisa just favoring the boys and Jax over someone like Kristen, who the second Kristen does anything out of line, Lisa reprimands her like that.
Yes.
But Jax gets caught by management having sex in the bathroom. And Lisa's like, well, until I get a confession, what can I do? And it's like, management. Your managers saw them. You know
Fire
that
him.
it happened. And then he says it, he admits it in the confessional. He's not going anywhere though.
No.
Lisa's not going to fire him, but she would fire the women that work at her restaurant for doing much less, to be
Absolutely. And has.
and will continue.
And will. And she's like, listen, like, I know they're lying. They know they're lying. But what can I do? Fire them.
What do you mean, what can I do,
What do you
Lisa?
mean, Lisa?
You are literally the only person
the
that has the
owner.
ability to do anything here.
You're the fucking owner.
And then
So-
Lisa's like, and if I find out it was the truth, you'll be out of here faster than you got in her knickers.
Which is hilarious.
Oh my God.
Incredible. Jax also emphasizes in this scene after Lisa dismisses Laura-Leigh that Laura-Leigh is not his girlfriend. Because Lisa's like, what are you doing with her? Be careful. And he's like, well, she's not even my freaking girlfriend. And she's like, yeah, she is.
Lisa's like, Laura-Leigh for sure thinks she is your girlfriend, just to be so clear.
And Jax is like, I'm just freaking having fun. Just whatever. It's boys.
What are you talking
It's
about?
just boy stuff. Get out of here, Lisa.
Boy stuff.
So, boof. Pow. We're at Stassi's apartment that night. Katie rolls up with 2 bottles of white wine.
Their usual.
She goes, our usual.
Hey, oh, oh, oh. The girls are back.
You're a true fan.
That's what it was giving. It's like she shows up the door. She's like, our usual. What do you say?
They hug it out. And that's basically what happened.
Yeah. Basically, this conversation is like a whole lot of just repeating what has already been said before, but they're
Yes.
just gonna like cry and say it in like a softer voice while they have this conversation this time around.
Yes. And it's both of them basically just being like, it's been hard for me. And the other one's been like, it's hard for me. And then they're like, okay,
Oh my God,
we've both been so sad about this.
Also insane, the cups that they're drinking the wine out of is like Stassi has these like fucking, they're massive like
Huge.
champagne flutes
Yes.
that are probably like only used for like New Year's Eve parties,
Yes.
but they are just fully drinking wine out of them. It almost looks like, you know, when you're like on a vacation, you're like walking down the street in like New Orleans and they have these like
It's like the hurricane cups.
yeah, these like massive, just like I don't know, like pina colada cups.
Yes.
Miami Vice cups. You just fill up, and it's like this tall.
Yes.
That's what they look like.
Yes. It's insane. So they have this like conversation that again, it's like, it's a whole lot of nothing, but they kind of come out the other side basically being like, we're okay again. Okay. So, boof, over to Sir. Something fishy is afoot.
Something's not right here.
The bartender's right behind me, isn't he?
Why is Joey here?
So Peter goes up to Jax.
You mean Pete?
Pete rocks up to Jax. And he's like, you seem very pensive, which is the first and only time anyone's ever said that to Jax. And Jax is like, Frank usually works on Tuesdays, but Frank isn't here. Joey's behind the bar. Why is Joey behind the bar? And Peter's like, I don't know why Joey's behind the bar. Let's go find out.
They're like, what's tea? Ooh, ooh. Let's go find out.
So then they
Gossip queens.
Let's go. So then they go up to the bar that Joey, a bartender who works at Sir, who we've never seen before, is working behind the bar. And they're like, hey, why isn't Frank here? And Joey goes, oh, you haven't heard? And they go, what? And Joey says that Frank, the Saturday before, got into a big fight with a customer. And they were like, oh my God, what happened? And Joey's like, Frank said, and I quote, fuck you, you peasant. How dare you come in here, order all these drinks, and then you can't pay for them. Go back to your fucking ugly girlfriend before I embarrass you in front of her by pulling your fucking underwear over your fucking head, you fucking nerd.
Also, this was so good because he's saying this to a customer for a mistake that he made. The customers were ordering double martinis and he was charging them double the price of the martini instead of just adding the price of another shot to the martini. So he's charging them $30 a drink. And that's why this conflict started. And instead of putting his hands up and being like, my bad, I didn't realize that I was ringing it up wrong, he says that instead. Threatening to give a customer an atomic wedgie is crazy.
And apparently the guy responded by throwing a beer in his face.
Seems reasonable.
Joey shares this with Jax and Peter, and even Jax is shocked.
Yeah.
Do you know how insane you have to be for even Jax to be mouth agape, eyes wide? Like he is like, oh my God, I can't even imagine someone being that crass.
Unbelievable.
And Joey's like, yeah, he threatened to atomic wedgie somebody. Like fully, that's what he threatened to do. And that's why he's not working tonight, because he threatened somebody with an atomic wedgie.
Right. And Guillermo was the one that sent him home, which is tough because Guillermo, again, is one of the co-owners of Sir.
Yes.
So this is not going to go over well.
So later that day, the man of the hour, Frank, and Stassi drive up to Sir, and Frank is like, I have this meeting with Lisa, and then we can go and meet your parents, because Stassi and Frank are meeting Stassi's parents. Frank is meeting Stassi's parents for the first time that day.
Which is crazy. Like, they've been together max 2.5 weeks at this point.
Have you?
And that's even generous.
I was about to say, have you ever introduced someone to your parents? I know for a fact it's no.
Never. But when I tell you, inside my head, the amount of, again, who knows what I would actually feel in the moment, but inside my brain, when I think of like the idea of introducing a partner to my family, to my parents specifically, I'm like, at the minimum, I'm waiting until the 6-month mark.
I was thinking 6 months as well.
Like minimum 6 months.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's also because we don't live in the same place. If I lived in the same place as my parents, maybe that would be closer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, they don't live in New York. 6 months feels like a normal amount of time to date someone before like traveling with them to go meet my parents.
Well, and this is like, what I'm thinking is like, I wouldn't introduce someone to my parents unless I'm like, I'm sure about this person.
I'm like dating this person seriously. I intend to be with them for a while.
Yes.
Until I know that, there's no shot I'm bringing someone home.
Why would I do that?
Right.
Just be like, here's some random guy I'm fucking.
Right. I don't want my parents to know those people.
Just want you guys to meet really quick. This is the guy that's sticking me down. Hey, mom, dad. Mwah.
He'll be here for the
Love
next
ya.
couple weeks.
Love ya.
Like,
Mwah, mwah, mwah. So they're going to have lunch with Stassi's parents, but first Frank has to meet with Lisa for some unknown reason. He doesn't actually really know why he's meeting with Lisa.
Yeah.
It's a big mystery.
I love how he's playing so dumb. He's like, what even happened?
I don't even really know.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
What's going
that
on?
that freaking happened. And Frank sits down and Lisa walks in and she is all business.
She's like, are you nervous?
And he's
Because
like,
you look like it.
he's like, no.
Lisa's out for blood.
Lisa is pissed. She is pissed.
And Lisa says that there have been multiple instances where Frank has been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
He had an issue with Kyle, one of the housewives and one of Lisa's best friends at the time, that I tried to look up to see if we knew anything about that. Nothing.
Okay, I thought that this was so interesting as well, and I didn't know that Kyle was one of the housewives. I
Yeah.
didn't know who Kyle was, and all I wrote down was like, yeah, that he had an incident that was inappropriate, and I was
Yeah.
like, what could that possibly mean?
I went on a Reddit deep dive to see if anybody knew anything about this alleged incident, and nobody knows.
And nothing.
But he's already had some strikes in the past. Obviously, we're now having this issue with Jax and Stassi. And Lisa asks him to recount to her what happened on Saturday.
And Frank doesn't say much.
He's like giving the heavily redacted version of the story that Joey told.
He is censoring a lot of what occurred. He's like, I got into an altercation, and I basically, I told the guy that, he needed to, he couldn't be here if he couldn't pay. And he's like, he is not holding his ground at all.
Yeah.
He is stuttering. He is put under the microscope for the first time and he is completely crumbling, falling apart. And Lisa knows this because she obviously knows exactly what he said and exactly what went down. She just wants Frank to tell her to her face. And she also wants to catch him lying.
And Lisa's like pushing back on everything that he's saying. And she's like, you said to him that if you can't afford it, you don't need to be here. And Frank's like, I would never say that. I wouldn't get tipped well if I insulted the customers. And Lisa's like, well, why didn't he tip you then?
Yeah.
And Frank was like, oh, well, I didn't know that he didn't tip me. How was I supposed to know that? I didn't check. And Lisa's like, yes, you did, because you complained about it. You complained that he didn't tip you. So now you're playing dumb and I've caught you in another lie because I know that you know that he didn't tip because you've already been bitching and moaning about this.
And she is fed the fuck up. And finally she gets to the point where she is like, say exactly what you said to him. And Frank is kind of like giggling.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
Lisa's like, I already heard it through the grapevine. Just tell it to me.
Just tell me. And he said... he eliminates all of the swears. He says, go back to your girlfriend before I embarrass you in front of her by pulling your underwear over your head.
And in the moment, Lisa's like, all right, Frank, you're fucking fired.
You were absolutely fired.
There is no way in hell you thought that you were going to get fired over this.
You are 100% without a doubt fired from this establishment.
Unbelievable. And so Stassi's waiting for Frank outside, and Frank like walks out into Sir Alley and is like, my prayers have been answered.
Yeah.
And Stassi's like, what? You're suspended? He's like,
Even better. And she goes, you got fired?
He's like, yeah, whoopee, I'm free. And Frank is skirting all responsibility. And he says that he didn't cause any of the problems. In fact, he tries to diffuse these kinds of situations. And, it's just best that he got out of here.
It is best. And Stassi's like, well, how did it all go down? Like, what did you say to her? And he's like, I told her to clean her fucking shit out of her ears. And Stassi's like, you said that to her? And Frank is like, oh, no. I mean, no. I thought it. You fucking dumbass.
So stupid.
You're such a fucking loser, Frank. Holy shit. I don't know where you are now, but I hope it's nowhere.
Since these vibes are so fucking good,
Let's take it
we're
all the way
heading
to
on
lunch.
over to meet Stassi's parents. I cannot think of a better time to introduce your loser boyfriend to your fucking parents than right now. He is now unemployed, sister.
And Stassi
Take home this catch.
Stassi and her like talking heads is like, so now my boyfriend is unemployed and I'm introducing him to my parents. Let's see how this goes. Luckily, they roll up to lunch with Stassi's parents, who are about 2 hours worth of drinks deep.
Right.
And Stassi kind of makes some comment about like, yeah, we're from New Orleans, like we like to drink, blah blah blah. And I'm like, girl, both of your parents are alcoholics.
Totally. Mark and Danya,
Mark and Dunya.
they be drinking.
Mark has a flask on him at the restaurant, which is insane. Okay. So yeah. So Frank is like, don't even worry. It's totally cool. Blah, blah, blah. And Stassi and Frank sit down for lunch. And Stassi's kind of making comments about the fact that like her parents have been drinking and blah, blah, blah. And Frank is like, oh, don't worry. Like I love it as a bartender. And then he goes, well, as a former bartender.
Why would he bring this up? Like, why? Wouldn't you be trying to make sure this topic doesn't get brought up?
Right.
But instead, like, they just sit down. He's like roaring and ready to rip into the fact that he just got fired no more than 30 minutes ago.
And Stassi's like, yeah, he just got fired.
And she's like, babe, you have to tell this story. Like, she's looking at him like this is like quirky and funny. And I'm like, Stassi,
Girl,
it's not.
run.
It's none of these things.
Run, girl. And Frank is kind of telling this story and manages to get some laughs out of the parents. They're
Yeah.
like, ha ha ha, the underwear.
I know. What a classic move.
What a clown. And Frank spins it all as, yeah, you know, I'm really into commercial real estate, so I don't even actually have time to bartend at Sir right now.
He's like, I really needed to get fired. This was actually my plan all along. He like starts spinning this tall tale. This is, by the way, the first time that anyone has heard about this commercial real estate business of his.
Which I've never heard of a more fake
Totally.
thing that you are doing.
I can't deal with these men that cannot just like take the L and every bad thing that happens to them, they're like, actually, I planned for this. And I broke up with her. She didn't break up with me. I fucking cut her loose. Whee, good for me. And I didn't get fired. I purposefully did this because I'm actually a very successful commercial real estate guy.
That's why I'm a bartender 6 nights a week.
Like, what are we doing?
Because my commercial real estate business is thriving. Shut the fuck up, Frank.
I can't.
And Stassi does mention, she's like, you know, Jackson and Laura-Leigh were caught banging in the bathroom and they didn't even get a suspension, which,
I mean, true.
fair.
But that's like a whole separate issue at this point.
Right. So honestly, as far as letting your parents know that your boyfriend just got fired, as far as that goes, it goes over pretty smooth. Mm-hmm. The parents are like, ha ha ha, Frank.
Every part of this lunch is bananas, though.
It feels like a fever dream. Frank kind of changes the subject a little bit to talking about how Stassi has, quote, pretty girl syndrome. Mm-hmm. And that part of why also he doesn't have time to bartend at Sir is because he's always doing stuff for Stassi. He's like her personal assistant. He's always doing things and he's like, I want a day off. And instead of her parents being like, that's a really weird and rude way to talk about our daughter.
Right.
Her mom goes, she wasn't always like this. Back in high school, she was homely.
A homely loser. And she goes, and she was pale and had a tummy and ate an entire loaf of bread from the inside out. Round face, got a chin implant that fixed that right up. Danya, what the fuck is happening?
Danya girl, what?
What? Why are you talking about her like that?
Why are you talking about your daughter? Why are you saying that your child daughter was homely? What? Also, they show photos of Stassi and she looks pretty.
She looks damn near exactly the same,
Yes.
except she has brown hair instead of blonde.
Yes, and again is like paler.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Homely. Okay. So they're kind of like talking about Stassi's childhood. Stassi's dad in that moment decides that it's a good idea to pull out a flask that has a photo of Stassi at like 3 years old attached via rubber band around the flask. And Frank is looking at it and he's like, oh, cute, blah, blah, blah. And he turns the flask around and there is a tin punched into the flask, an image of a gun. And Frank is like, whoa, a gun. And Stassi's dad goes, you're not a Democrat, are you? And Frank goes, no. And then Stassi's parents go, oh, thank God.
Thank God you're not a Democrat. What the hell?
And they leave and Stassi was like, that lunch went great.
That went awesome.
Imagine leaving that lunch with your parents and being like, that was an awesome lunch.
I have no explanation for why any one of them thought that went well.
So insane. So insane.
We need a palate cleanser.
Thank God Ken's here.
Thank God Ken is here. And a little pink buggy Sir something or other that he bought for Lisa.
I guess.
It's like a Sir branded pink car.
I wrote down, at first I wrote down, this is a Rolls Royce. And then I looked at it and I went, no, it is not.
I have no idea what it is.
It is like an old timey, like, type car that he pulls up in and all the girls are like, yeah! And then they all jump in and they drive off and Ken is wearing a fedora. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that car is still parked outside of Sir to this day. It was there when I was at Sir 2 months ago.
Because what else are you going to do with it?
Yeah. That's it, I guess.
Literally nothing. So, Splammo, Katie, Kristen, and the Toms are at brunch at a place called Home. Not their home, but at a restaurant called Home. Put it on the map.
Yeah.
They're all sitting around. Katie has like, I can't remember if it's a talking head. I think it is, where she's like, it sucks we can't hang out the 6 of us anymore. The 4 of us and Stassi and Jax. That stinks. Okay. Jax, in the middle of brunch, calls Kristen to drop the news that Frank has been fired. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because Kristen takes the call, puts it on speaker. So Kristen takes this call from Jax. Jax lets Kristen know that Frank has been fired from Sir. Mm-hmm. And it's strange because Kristen puts this call on speaker and everyone can hear Jax, but then Kristen hangs up and she's like, you'll never guess what happened. And they're like, what?
And then
you just heard.
Tom Sandoval seemingly already knows the story.
Right. So he like recaps it to all of them again.
I'm like, what?
Who knows
was the
what?
miscommunication here?
Right. Who knows what? And Katie is like, oh, Lisa and Ken don't tolerate when people are rude to customers. Like, that's the one thing that they can't handle. And then it cuts to a talking head of Kristen being like, what can I say? Frank wasn't a part of the family.
Yeah.
It's like, shut the fuck up, Kristen.
And Katie says that she's willing to put money on the fact that Stassi and Jax will get back together.
Katie's determined.
Yeah.
And Katie's probably saying that because she feels their absence at brunch.
Exactly. All right, so boof.
Stassi's apartment.
Stassi's apartment.
Katie's wish might be coming true, at least part of it. Frank and Stassi are sitting on Stassi's couch. They're kind of recapping the day. And Frank is talking about how, once again, it's actually good that he got fired from Sir. It's all a part of his plan. He planned to get fired from Sir because now he can focus on his bustling commercial real estate business that is, once again, thriving and doing incredibly well.
It is popping. He is slaying.
Yes.
He says, Frank 1, Vanderpump 0.
And Stassi's like, okay, well, don't act like it was your choice to get fired. Like, you got fired and you're spinning it well, but like, you didn't make the choice to leave. And Frank's like, it's all in my plan. It went as expected. Okay. And Stassi's like starting to get kind of annoyed by Frank's behavior. She's like, these things are kind of starting to grate on me. This attitude and him starting to be a bit condescending. And like, I'm noticing all of this stuff. And Frank says he cannot necessarily help Stassi with something because he has to go down to Huntington Beach for his commercial real estate job.
Yeah.
And Frank is basically like, it's like driving freaking Miss Daisy around. Like, I can't help you with everything. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and also Stassi asks Frank what he thought of her parents, and he like won't give her a straight answer. He's like, "Hey, went as expected," and Stassi's like, "Okay, can you like elaborate? Like, I am dating you. I want to know what you thought of my parents." And he goes, "Well, I'm not a gossip girl."
Yeah.
And then Stassi's like getting increasingly frustrated with him because he's not really giving her a real answer about anything.
Right.
And then he is continuing to react to her like she is crazy for this. He's like, "Okay, well, you can tell them that they're the best parents in the whole world." And he's just being sarcastic and rude the whole time. I've met a couple guys like this in my life, and they are fucking unbearable the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's like, not only are they going to like do the nice thing and then make it your problem that they did the nice thing for you, but they have this inability to take things seriously, and will be sarcastic and rude instead of just direct about whatever it is that they're actually upset about every opportunity they get.
And it's like so clear that all of this is actually stemming from the fact that he is in fact upset about being fired from Sir.
Yes.
He's just taking it out on his girlfriend because he cannot possibly feel inferior at any point in time, because he does feel inferior because now his girlfriend has a job and he doesn't.
Yes. And he says something about how it seemed like Stassi's dad has served under his mother's reign, like he serves over hers, moonlighting as a personal assistant. And Stassi says to him, like, "Stop doing nice things for me if you're just going to complain about it and hold it over my head."
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't do nice things if you don't want to do them.
She's like, "I didn't ask you to do those things.
Right.
I didn't ask you to do all this stuff." And he's like, "You did." And Stassi's like, "Okay, well then don't do them."
Like, do you like her at all?
Literally.
You're not acting like it.
Literally. And Stassi says, "You're annoying me." And Frank goes, "Now you know how I feel."
He's being so rude for no reason. She hasn't even done anything to him.
No, nothing. So Stassi gets really frustrated. Frank is like still going on and on. He's like, "Oh, Stassi, if you want to be like this, like if this is where you want to take it, then fine. I guess that's where I guess that's where it's going." And he's like, "I've got a million things to do and I can't do anything because of you." And Stassi is finally just like, "This sucks," and like storms out of her own apartment. And she is crying on the sidewalk and like very, very upset. And Frank walks out of the house and just walks right past Stassi and tries to keep on walking. And Stassi's like, "Where the fuck do you think you're going?" And Frank turns around and he's like, "What? Like, what?" And they have this whole argument on the sidewalk. And it's just more of the same of Frank belittling Stassi at every turn. And Stassi being like, again, like, "Do you even like me? Like, do you even want to spend time with me?" And at one point she says, "I can't believe how mean you're being." And he replies, "I can't believe I have to deal with you." You don't.
Imagine someone you've known for 2 weeks talking to you like this.
Yes. Yes. And Frank says, "You're so fucking selfish. Maybe we need some time apart."
Yeah, maybe we do, Frank.
Yes. And Frank walks away. And Stassi is there crying on the curb. And she's like walking back into her apartment. And there's kind of a voiceover of Stassi talking. And she's like, all of this stuff, like 2 breakups in one summer. She's like, "Was I not good enough? Going through 2 breakups in a summer. God is literally trying to kill me."
Poor Stas.
Stas. You're evil, but also I feel bad for you in this moment in time.
You're evil, and also the 2 men that you have dated this summer are eviler.
So much more eviler.
Really tough.
Oh,
And that's episode 6.
that's episode 6. Frank.
What a freaking doozy. Frank,
If I
count
ever
your fucking
If I ever
days.
see ya. Oh, if I ever see a pal.
Yeah. No, I really can't stand men that speak to anybody the way that he spoke to Stassi like this entire episode.
It is one of the worst qualities a person can have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Genuinely. Because no matter
Unreal.
what you say, they will just be like, "Pfft, okay,
Yeah.
dumb bitch."
I know. I went out with someone in college who we had one night where he was acting like this. It resulted in a blowout fight and we never spoke to each other again.
Yeah.
We had been on probably like 3 or 4 dates and he was over in my apartment we had ordered food and we were just gonna like sit and talk and hang out. He was gonna sleep over. And the time before we saw each other, I had given him some of my poetry because he said he wanted to read it. And when we were hanging out at my apartment, we're eating dinner and I'm like, oh, what did you think of my poetry? And he's going, you don't want to hear what I have to say.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, well, like I do.
Now I do, but for different reasons.
I'm like, what? And he's being like so like won't tell me what he thought about my poetry and is being really like rude about it and like kind of acting annoyed with me for asking for his opinion, even though that's why I gave him my poetry in the first place.
Right.
And then finally I convince him to tell me and he doesn't give me any meaningful feedback. He's just like, I thought it was bad. I didn't like it. And I was like, okay, and what are your credentials?
Right.
Like if you're not going to give like to give like meaningful feedback or criticism is one thing. Y'all ever heard of a compliment sandwich or something?
Right.
Like there would have been a nice way if you read my poetry and you didn't really resonate with it, but you were seeing me and you liked me. There's like a reasonable human way to have that conversation. He was just mean the whole way through. And I was not having it. So I start like biting back at him and I'm like, who are you to say that? Like,
right.
Let me see your fucking poetry then.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting rude back at him and it's like a blowout fight that happens. Ooh. And I'm having a hard time kicking him out of my apartment. So I'm texting my friend on the side who lives nearby and I'm like, SOS, help. Yeah. This man is fucking crazy. He's screaming at me and he won't leave my apartment.
Oh no.
So my friend ends up coming over and she kicks him out.
Whoa.
She's like, did you heard what she said to you? She said, get the fuck out. He leaves, or we think he leaves, and he's like in the hallway of my apartment building still screaming at me.
Oh my God.
And me and my friend are inside my apartment being like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Yeah.
And so I'm like crying at this point. My friend's comforting me, and finally he does leave and she calms me down. We're able to like laugh about it a little bit because we were like, that was insane that he just reacted like that and all of a sudden turned everything on me and was being really like mean to me and then was getting upset and acting like I was crazy for being like, actually, no, you can't talk to me like that.
Right.
And when my friend went to leave, he had taken a receipt that he had in his pocket, wrote a note on it and stuck it to my door. And it said, like, Maddie, you are so fucking childish or something like that. And we took so many fucking photos of this receipt. We were like about to frame it. I'm pretty sure there's a photo of it on my Instagram. Like we thought it was so funny because we were like, this man is unhinged.
Yes.
Screamed at me because he didn't like my poetry, made it into a whole fucking thing. And then on his way out, as he's screaming down the hallway, he's like, let me get back in there. He writes a note just to be like, you are so childish. I'm so childish? Brother.
His first poem.
I cannot believe.
Maddie, you are so fucking
childish.
So
fucking stupid.
Now that's poetry.
Puts it on the door. So bizarre. I'm like, you supposedly like me. We've been on like 4 dates.
Yeah, it's just like,
why are you treating me like this if you like me?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt the whole time watching how Frank treats Stassi.
Yeah.
And how he will be really rude to her, really mean. And then the second that she bites back at him at all, he's like, ask like all exasperated with her.
Right. Well, these are just men who don't think that women are people.
Yeah, exactly.
So then they get really mad when they realize that like the women that they're seeing are better than them, but they don't know how to express that. So instead of actually expressing that frustration to like a therapist, they're like, fuck you, you stupid fucking bitch.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you're not successful.
Hello?
Don't take that out on me.
Anyways.
So that about sums it up.
That's it for this episode. Be sure to follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Pumpcast Rules. Absolutely. You can follow me at Maddie Drosbeck.
And me at Meg Ruocco.
And we will be here see you next Tuesday.
Amen, sister.
See you there.
Bye.
Bye.